having an ordinary conversation.
We're on, it's the 3rd of March,
It is.
2015,
That's the first thing we want to make clear.
and we're having a,
Conversation together.
yeah. We've got an agenda,
And we've begun, haven't we?
and we have begun.
This is probably not in the beginning now.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Change the future meeting.
Thank you, Charlie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's all welcome each other. You're so welcome to be here, you two. And Jeff, you're welcome to
Thanks.
be here.
Odd to be on this side of the fence.
Yeah. I welcome you three into this.
Minute that. Okay. Yep.
Go on then, let's look at this agenda then.
I'm looking at it.
Where is it?
Oh look, PB's on there.
Is he? Good on him.
And there's what are the animals? We've got look at the animals.
We've got an anonymous cheetah and an anonymous camel.
The camel's jumping about. Yeah, I saw his cursor flying off the walls.
Alright. So, oh yeah, there he is.
Highlighting everything.
So the agenda,
Hey, what if I just, did a bit...
this isn't a strict agenda. You can always add your own points or sort of topics if you want.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
Right.
Good. All right.
First.
Jeff.
Yeah. To welcome any new faces. Describe projects to the first timers and describe weekly meetup, the agenda and the hangout. Just to sort of give it a rough overview for anyone who don't get it. Or for people who think they do get it and explain it. This is opening it up as a place where we can just go, this is what it is that we do here. So yeah. Who is anyone new? No. But there was last week.
There could be a new person watching this.
Who knows?
Or watching later, like
Yeah.
as well.
In the future.
Exactly.
None of my friends.
Maybe in 2038 in the archives, people will be looking at this and they'll be like, God, I wish they just said what it is.
Yeah.
But also, I think this is a good opportunity just to practice describing what the project is, which after about 9 years I'm still practicing.
Yep.
With limited success.
Go on then.
Yes.
Go on then. Change the Future is a democratic collective of people exploring, creating new spaces online and offline for people to shape their communities in a more fun and effective way together.
Processing.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Processing.
Blip, 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 blip.
Actually, you had to say that every time someone speaks. I think I might actually. It's quite good if you want to just digest something from it.
So that is probably the most succinct way of explaining Change the Future to someone who has never experienced it before. Yeah.
This is pretty good.
And then why do we have weekly meetups? Why do we have an agenda? And why do we have a hangout? Those are key questions to ask and be answered.
Anyone want to answer?
I think because we need to keep track of what's going on. That's always good.
So that'd be all of it, really. That's a kind of all-encompassing. We have the meetups, the agenda, and the hangout, simply to keep track of what's going on.
Fun.
Charlie said archiving, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
So other people can see where it's going.
Yeah.
And keep moving forwards.
Yes.
Not literally, physically, because
Yeah.
that would be awkward.
Like a shark.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Exactly not like a shark.
so specifically,
Mike
what
is
do we
off.
in weekly meetups? What do we do in weekly meetups? Oh, why is that hard to say?
So our strategy meetings every Monday, except today's a Tuesday, because Jem and I were filming in the House of Commons. Wednesday, social. Thursday, working group. And from my point of view, I feel like it's a bit of an experiment into like what is the best sort of. We know we want to meet up in person, or at least kind of see each other's faces and hear each other's voices, because it feels like that makes sense rather than just all being text-based on a website. But yeah, so it's like, what's the best structure? We could just have meetings and make decisions and talk about things, but then we're not actually doing anything, and we're also never just chilling together and just being fun. So it feels like, yeah, this is like, but actually I think it is probably about time to evaluate, you know, do we want more or less weekly events, or do we want different kinds, or is one of them not really worth having or not really working somehow? Or, but yeah.
What are they at the moment, the weekly meetups? Like, is there any way to sort of quickly
Summarise them. So Monday strategy meeting is where we try to all be together as the most powerful democratic force we can be, apart from kind of Facebook voting, I guess. And we can make quick, sort of powerful, big decisions and just be together in a problem-solving space where we, just talk about where the project's at and update each other. And it's open to anyone to kind of bring ideas that could better inform or shape the movement, next things we want to do. The social is just really informal. It's not recorded, or doesn't need to be, and it's just like chilling and spending social time with the people that we normally work hard with. And then Thursday is working. So that's like where we actually do stuff together rather than just talking about it. We actually do things, pick up the phone, email someone, draw a sketch out, print some shirts.
Have a conversation with a different human being.
What's the social again?
Pardon?
What day is the social again?
Wednesday. So the calendar has always been up on ChangeTheFuture.co.uk. If you ever want to check dates, the calendar is always there.
That is a good link, actually. Yeah, I really value the calendar and all its goodness.
So yeah, you'll see that it says today's meeting has moved to today. So if you're not sure about something getting rearranged, just always check that calendar. It should be the most up-to-date, accurate representation of not just weekly meetups, but also other events, like even events that could be of interest.
Cool. So that pretty much summarizes what we do. I mean, I feel like the agenda is simply a list of points that need dealing with, assessing and voicing and exploring. And then the hangout is this. It's hard to really describe.
The hangout is this.
Well, it is, isn't it? So it's like, this is the hangout. To describe it would be kind of
Pointless.
counterintuitive because
Right now,
you're watching it. Yeah. I mean, it is a hangout.
You could just talk about a hangout and not have one. You know.
Pardon?
You could just talk about having a hangout and not have one for the next hour if you wanted to. It could be quite fun.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Possible.
Chill out.
I'm hanging out.
So the next point on the agenda, to sort of keep this moving, says human beings check in.
Who put that in there?
I think that means,
Oh no, that makes me really scared.
I think that means just checking in personally, just going, hey, I'm a human being, and I'm going to check in and say,
What's going on?
what are you bringing into this hangout, as it were, this strategy meeting?
I'll go.
Thanks, Charlie.
I'm curious.
Hmm.
My wondering brain is on. I want to learn. And I want. Hello? Oh,
Hi, Charlie.
are you alive?
We got you loud and clear.
Okay, good. You froze for a bit, and I was thrown like a deer in headlights.
Nice.
I'm curious and wondering about the direction of Change the Future and seeing where people believe it to be going, what the vision is, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
and the shared mission.
Nice.
And I feel really happy as a human at the moment. So that's good.
Writing that down.
That's nice, Chad. That's what it needs to be. It's just, yeah, a simple check-in and how you do. Nice.
How smashing that is. Well, why don't you add that to the agenda if you want to talk about it?
I did.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
Done, mate. I am here. I'm glad I'm on time. I'm a bit ropey and a bit tired, but it's good to feel like I'm present and making it a priority in my life. It's quite easy to just sort of overlook things. But online, I'll get able to be present at something like this and feel like you can interact in real time rather than picking something up at a later date and wishing that you'd been there. It's nice to just be here for whatever comes. So yeah, checking in, just happy to be present, I suppose, and I'm glad to have an agenda. I haven't put anything that I know of on the agenda, but yeah, I'm happy to deal with anything that comes up. Yeah, it's an opportunity for me to better understand Change the Future, really. Just coming to these meetings and being present. Yeah. That's me. That's my check-in.
That's nice.
Thanks, Jan.
I feel like we're in like an alcoholics circle or something. Former alcoholic.
Yeah, but instead of addicted to alcohol, we're addicted to changing the future.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
I'm going to check in. I similarly have not had a huge amount of sleep, but I'm happy. I've got a nice cup of tea and some friends made out of pixels and some that are made out of
Pixel.
clothes and meat. Yeah, I like that thing about the like. It's so easy just to check, like watch the video later or just like swing past the minutes or just not even do that. But yeah, just being here is really nice, I think, because it just reminds me that Change the Future is nothing. It's literally just a piece of blank paper, and like what makes it something that is definitely inspired me massively, like in ways that I found quite unpredictable sometimes. And I've like seen on occasion people like revealing parts of themselves that I haven't seen before. And yeah, also like taking leadership and having gumption and things like this. Like, yeah, you just realise that none of that was inherently in the paper. It's just that you've used the paper to write a beautiful poem or like draw a beautiful picture. Like, yeah, I think it's good that this is just like such a subtle invitation for us to waste an hour or two or do something really useful and amazing, and we can take all the credit for it together. Yeah, I feel good. I feel good. We've got a big proposal item about the paying people or like grants or donations or whatever. So I'm excited about that.
True, that's going to be dealt with.
Dealt with.
I'm a human being.
Yay!
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be alive. Happy to be surrounded by lovely friends. And I don't really know what Change the Future is. I don't think I'm ever really going to know what it is because it's everything and it's nothing. I feel, which is what's so cool about it. Yeah. Everything's cool. What are you saying? What are you asking?
You said it's everything and nothing. I like that sentiment.
Oh.
I'm wondering what the nothing means.
Oh, I mean, in terms, I mean, like what Luke said, it's like it's not something you can define so easily as to put it in a box and leave it there, and it just makes it quite limitless. And at the moment, I'm a bit annoyed. I'm going to talk about it in this meeting actually, so put it in the minutes about how if I ever bring it up in conversation with people my age, you know, like creative-driven people, creative people that I've found to be driven in the past, they're just totally switched off by it because it's just so apathetic whenever anything comes up about democracy or politics, and yeah,
Mm.
I want to find out. Yeah, I want to find out new ways of.
I don't think there's anything that, I don't know, I can't imagine anything that teachers could have said, or even friends of mine could have said when I was having a shit time in school, that would make me feel inspired or amazed by like lessons or teachers or education or like a passion. Like, I feel like it's something you've just got to experience firsthand to kind of begin that process of like changing the definition of a word. And I feel like words like politics and democracy and things like this are just, in reality, whatever we think about it, they're boring words to a lot of people because they're just tied to too many negative, uninspiring stories. You know, like, yeah, so I just feel like either use some new words or just, as soon as possible, try and invite them to actually have a first-hand experience of whatever you find most fun.
That leads quite nicely into the next point, which says opportunity to share anything interesting / creative.
Oh, I've got something.
Lovely, Charlie.
I've been writing an idea for a long time, and I think it's at a stage where I want to. I think there's enough of it written down now where people will hopefully get where it's going, so people can read it and help me grow it further as a collaborative thing. It's a blueprint, a plan for a culture where humans thrive and where we can bring freedom across the planet. Ultimately.
Sounds big. That's a big project.
Yeah, it's very big. And I
want that.
send you a link.
Yes, please.
The title of it is Freedom,
Mm.
and the subtitle is Hub Learning System. And I'll send it to you. It's basically it's a mix of different ideas, mainly a different concept on how to do education instead of an education system. It's a network of exciting places, hubs of learning, where people come together and they learn and grow together, learn how to love and learn how to build brilliant things.
I like it and I want it.
In a nutshell. So eventually people wouldn't go to normal schools in the education system anymore. They would just go to these amazing places that are really exciting.
Which already exist, but you mean to make them more numerous?
No, they don't exist. There's places that I would call hubs.
Okay.
That have basically got a lot of the foundation in there, but a huge part of it is the training of the people that set the culture, the adults, or the crew. So they're the people that kind of set the tone. Like in a normal school, most mainstream schools, there's an assumed authority from the adults, the teachers, and there's very much a kind of us versus them approach. And it's like the model of behavior that young people have is you get your way by being bossy, being rude, and being oppressive. So students are learning that in order to help someone conform, you say, tuck your shirt in. And that's a model of behavior of how to treat another human being. And then people wonder why there's bullying in schools. And the whole system is built on oppression and bullying. Instead of
no, I didn't even think about that. 10 stars.
So yeah.
Are you looking to
just as a sort of afterthought, I'm not sure that the whole system is built on oppression and bullying, but I feel like it is a major issue to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying. I think I respect that. I think they wouldn't actively decide to build it on oppression and bullying, but I think there is a lot of hierarchy
Yeah.
and
Don't you think
misunderstanding.
Subconscious.
indoctrination that comes with mainstream education naturally a form of impression anyway?
Hmm.
I don't know, that could be a whole can of worms that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like a different sort of use of language slightly, like non-violent communication sounds like a weird arrangement of words to people who, like I did, sort of felt like, well, I don't know, you could probably have phrased that thing better that you said, but it didn't feel violent.
Yeah.
But like it's a different interpretation, different understanding of words such as violent, and kind of oh, there's other words that are like oppressive and yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I guess it's like it's different. They're quite extreme words. But
Yeah, it's true. You can go
The
into
violation,
semantics.
violated.
I'd probably have to spend a while explaining what I mean in detail.
Yeah.
Expression.
So, but
Looking to collaborate on this project. I have a few ideas about. I mean, as a former college student, that I'd like to run past you if you're.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
sounds great. I'm gonna send a link to the current draft, so anyone can look at it, and it'll be it would integrate a lot of the concepts of change the future as well in the building of the network. Wait.
Very nice. Really nice.
there's that chap who closed the door, lovely Joe. He's just playing some music now, so you might be able to hear it in the background, but we're just gonna in between probably mute the microphone.
Can you see that Dropbox link in the
Ah.
conversation?
What is it, Jolly? This is your hub learning system.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to move on to the next agenda point, but if it was something that you wanted to discuss now, we can. But if it was just sort of a link to attach for as a sort of after
Yeah.
note.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a
Is
link.
that fair enough? Yeah, cool, great. Okay, so the next bit says matters arising. Look over last minute updates from committees.
Is it worth the other tab that we closed before, but it's open again? Had all these. Just an opportunity just to like flash past old minutes.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
just kind of go, oh yeah, I remember that thing or whatever.
What?
If we just like have a glance at the minutes, maybe at the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
We're looking at how ChangeTheFuture will actually be taken seriously. So I wrote a whole thing up in Trello about how will ChangeTheFuture actually gain any sort of recognition and legitimacy and be taken seriously by influential decision makers. So yeah, there was like a sort of mini essay there that I think was sort of generally enjoyed by people and we're happy to stick with for the moment as like a working thing. So that's on Ask ChangeTheFuture Anything on Trello. Yeah, and then there was sort of just a lot of discussion about things, like Daniel Harris was saying that we agreed on massively, open protocols and
The open protocol, in short, is essentially just being totally open and honest about everything that we do, good and bad, just the mistakes that we make and everything, I believe.
Luke, could I ask you a quick question? I was wondering, there was a video you posted in the ChangeTheFuture Workforce, which I quite liked. It went down, or you removed it or something. Giving a little talk in a red hoodie.
which one was that?
when you're encouraging people to get more involved?
Definitely done a few of those over the years.
It was like the most recent one, and it was there, and now it's not there. So I guess I don't know what happened.
Was it me on my own? Or
Yeah, in
the office? Like the recent one that I filmed on my phone in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like 4 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was me just like getting into the Change the Future zone a bit, and just wanting to kind of practice again. I guess with like articulating and why and what's kind of motivating, sort of driving behind it, sort of from my perspective, which is the only one I have authority to talk about, is my perspective, I think. And yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, does that answer your question?
No, I was just wondering.
I don't think I took it down,
Right.
but I posted it. I think I posted it on the Change Future page, and then kind of told everyone and sort of half apologised a little bit for sort of not clearing it with people first, and I invited anyone who felt like it was a bit naff to take it down if they didn't feel like it kind of represented their views much or just didn't look very professional particularly. And so somebody might have taken it down.
No, I found it. It's still there. Cool. I just wanted to reference back to it because I'm coming out with trying to come up with new ideas on how to get my Cheshire plants just started.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Annabelle Allison is a filmmaker, and she said she didn't feel like it was clear what to do next after watching the video, which I totally massively agree on, and I think Change the Future should be a project really pioneering, changing that, not just inspiring or educating people, but like making it really clear what buttons you can actually press now to actually interface and get involved and actually shape things and drive them forward. So yeah, the video kind of contradicted itself a bit in that sense, because it was just like, yay, cool, and like passionate words, but now what do I do?
Ambiguous.
Yeah. Yeah, and then she also said like make it look more professional as well. I also nodded in my head.
Okay. What are the updates from the committees? What does that even mean, really?
There's 7 committees in Change the Future,
Of course.
and most of them, but not all of them, have a couple of people in. Some have 3, maybe 4 people in the committees.
There's 7 committees on Trello.
Yeah. Should we just link to it? Yeah. It's in the Driving Change the Future Forward board, which is this one I am linking you to now. Copy. You've all got links to this, but whatever. And yeah, you'll see in the 2nd or 3rd column, I think, a list of the committees, and you can see who's tagged themselves to those committees. So here's an invitation to have a look at the committees, click on them. Maybe the description of them has been updated, or you could add to it yourself or write comments in there or whatever. But also you'll see I've done the laborious process of most way through labelling all of the tasks in Trello. So we've got loads and loads of things that over the many months we've decided to be great things to do, but we haven't actually done a lot of those things. This is one of the things that came up in the last meeting, is how can we make it like easier for people to actually get shit done and do things.
By shit you mean tasks.
Yeah. So yeah, now if you look at Driving Change the Future Forward, you'll see almost all of the tasks now are color-coded, and that just indicates what committee that task sort of relates to.
It looks great. There's a lot, but it looks great.
So if you hit menu in the top right corner and then hit filter cards, you can only show your committee. So I'm involved in office space and bus, so I can click that, and then it will filter out all of the tasks that don't relate to me and my interests and my skills.
That's cool.
It's essentially like Trello-based stuff on the committees, and you can link yourself to any or all or just one committee that suits you. There could be 1, 2, 3, up to 7 that you want to be involved in and you go on Trello, follow that link, and just sort it, organize it. It's all color coded.
Yeah, filter it. Yeah.
And well.
Obviously, all these links are on ChangeTheFuture.co.uk, which, by the way, we're moving to WordPress now because it expired. And can I have permission to put to make Change the Future pay for that website now? Because I've been paying for it for I don't know how long time.
Yeah,
it's only a small amount.
That
it's
sounds
like,
entirely sensible.
And it should be cheaper now. We're not doing it on Wix as well. So should be what, Charlie? Maybe like 20 quid a year or
27
something.
maximum, I think.
Yeah, it'll be less than 30 quid a year.
Wow.
Sure. Yeah, can I put that on the Change Future account? And share thoughts as well on how to design it, the words, the pictures. Let's make it really beautiful and yummy.
Yummy.
You'll see Trello tasks about the website, or if there isn't one, then stick one on there.
Okay, good. That's enough on committee, if you don't mind. The next point was from... Pardon?
Sorry, I think there was some lag. Is there a link? Is there like a place where I can find the minutes of every meeting in like a list?
Yeah, all the links. Have you looked on Change Future?
On what?
Have you looked at ChangeTheFuture.co.uk?
Well, yeah.
They're just links are just always on there. All of the links that you need for things are always on there.
And Google Drive, I think, has them.
But the link to Google Drive should be on there. Right. Just keep in mind that it's like we're just changing the web page now for Change the Future, so it will look a bit ugly, but all the links should be there.
Is it like a chronological order?
Not really. There's just like 10. Yeah, there is minutes and other resources.
Okay, just because I want to go back to the old ones, but I don't really want to have to scroll through the workforce. I'm just wondering about. I'm sure I can manage it. I was just wondering if there was any alternative.
Have you clicked on the link, or like you might have to copy paste it? The links aren't clickable yet, but
the website.
You get a really organised, neat folder that organises it by the month. So if you just click on it and look at the link, you'll see it's pretty well laid out. A lot of thought's gone into it. You won't spend more than 10 seconds looking for whatever minutes you need.
That's good. Leah asked, how can we get everyone to add their contact details, links to their Facebook, email, phone number, so they can be privatized if needed or wanted by any other member of CTF. So it's just kind of databasing, essentially, and networking. It's fairly good through Facebook at the moment. I feel like it's the place where we have the most regular communication, but it'd be better to get it so that everyone could be emailed or could be called on their phone number if needs be. Yeah, I suppose it's up to the individual how much information they want, addresses, etc., that kind of thing. And then they have the option to privatize it. I guess.
Make it private.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sort of make whatever. No, it's never going to be shared beyond anyone within Change the Future.
Well, but it is though, isn't it? Cause, well, potentially, because if it's on our Trello board. So like, I think that's what she means, is because she's been creating. Leah's been working on a couple of things recently. One of them is making conversation spaces for each community, each committee. So she's using Facebook because we've already been using that, and it seems to be mostly going well. So yeah, she's creating one for each committee, so 7 more Facebook groups. Yeah, so she's just trying to get hold of people, like contact them, and she's like, yeah, this is often a thing we want to do, you know, like whether we want to text people to tell them about the strategy meeting, like you guys, or you know, get people to an event, or ask the question or whatever, like it's important to have that somewhere. So how do we gather all of these contact details and put them somewhere? Leah wanted to make it to this meeting, and she could have said it yesterday because me and Jem had to move it. She couldn't make it tonight, but yeah, I said I'd help with her points. So yeah, so it's an invitation. What can we do to best collate contact details for people so they're accessible to internal people?
Tricky one.
My mind immediately leaps to spreadsheet. I just think so simple to just have like name, phone number, email address, whatever else.
I mean, like a public
Tag.
document we would add to on the workforce with their profile details.
Yeah, exactly. Even on the ChangeTheFuture.com.
But how would we make those private with people that want private?
Google Drive? How private?
Well, she said.
If people want them private,
as in, does she mean like if one person wants their information to be unseen by anyone else? Is that what she means?
Imagine one person could just send an email to one of the core team with the details instead.
I would propose like senior members and core team could have access to. So there's two Change the Future folders. One that's got 99% of our stuff in, and one that's called Change the Future Confidential, and that's got 2 documents inside it. One of them is the logins and passwords for things and sort of money information, and then I think there's a second one which is something like what you were saying, Jem, but never kind of got sort of finished. It was just probably one of my half thoughts that I started and then I did another one and then did another one and then did another one and I never finished anything. So yeah, I think it is a good idea and it's there and it's ready for anyone to fiddle with, and I think someone probably just needs to like actually get in touch with people.
Leo expressed an interest last meeting do more towards on to have that to sort of move forward in that area.
Sorry, could you start again, please? You lagged a lot.
Leo just said last week that she was most interested or most able, she felt, to put in time and energy and change the future through social media and promoting it or collating information and putting it out to people through that form. And I think for her to do that, it would be really useful for her to have a list of everyone's contact details. And yeah, even to just have their names, then she could contact them on Facebook, and then to have emails, even better for private messages, phone calls, any of that stuff. Yeah, it'd be really useful.
I think, yeah, I'd agree with that. But then also I think this is a bit of a human resources thing, huh? Like kind of gathering contact details of our workforce, everyone involved in Change the Future, like getting in touch with them, getting their contact details and asking them if they're happy, how happy they are to have that in a public space or in a core team only space. So I feel like we should work with that committee, which right now just has Rob Carney has tagged himself on it. So I'm just thinking, how can we make an action point now out of this? Maybe should we get in touch? One of us could get in touch with Rob and maybe Leah as well. And we just on the workforce group, we could tag them both maybe and just say, do you guys want to work together to get in touch with everyone involved in Change the Future? Get all their details and ideally encourage them onto the workforce board on Trello, but then also work out some way of creating a private space as well. A private space should surely have all of the details, not just the private ones.
Yeah, I think that's the way. So so it seems to me the final situation would be to collate everyone's information in a private form and then ask them which parts of their information they would be happy to have public. That sounds
Definitely.
So the next point that she brought up after that was how can we get...
Wait, did we get an action point out of that? Is someone leading an action? Or have we just talked about something?
I think we talked about something. What was the action point you wanted? Just to contact them about...
Shall I write on the workforce group? Because I just definitely won't remember unless it's written down.
Okay.
Shall I lead that and just write on the workforce group? I'll get in touch with Leah and Rob. And give them a link to that Google contact spreadsheet if it does already exist. Otherwise, I'll just give them a link to that folder so they can create it and put it in there, and just invite them to, if they need an invitation at all, to just like get in touch with everyone.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
That's the action point, isn't it?
That's the action point led by a human.
Brilliant.
So the next point she brought up was how can we get people to tag themselves in committees on Trello that they're interested in working in and get them represented on a card in the Trello, our workforce. What is the clear shared mission and vision of Change the Future?
That's a different point.
Okay, yeah.
Hello?
So maybe... Yes, hello? Still there, Chuck?
You went. Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose after everyone's information is collected and validated, because I think some people may change phone numbers or email addresses and maybe out of links or off Facebook, etc., etc. Yeah, I think then the next bit would be to ask everyone what their involvement or their role or vision of Change the Future is, so that we can find similarities and involve them with whatever aspects of Change the Future interest them, of which there are many and spawning.
Is that an invitation for everyone to say what they think it is?
I think it's an invitation to think about it. I think it's an invitation. You don't have to express it right now unless you feel compelled, but I think better to keep this quite sort of concise maybe, and just to sort of mull it over, find out what Change the Future means to you, and then when it comes to maybe sharing that information, once your detail is there.
That would be a good question to ask maybe on the workforce group.
Yeah.
I could.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Do one of you two want to lead it?
I can just ask the question.
Yeah,
Sounds good. That's an easy action point.
nice one, Theo. Thank you. Yeah, the next bullet point simply says, what is the clear shared mission and vision of Change the Future? I think that will be your action point. If you want to elaborate on that or rephrase it, by all means.
Is that yours, Charlie, that one?
I wrote that, yeah.
Can you initial your
Oh,
things? Yeah, if everyone can initial their things in the agenda, like you can see other people have done, that's just useful for knowing.
Put your initials before it.
Yeah.
Says that I did this. I'm not sure that I did. No, that's located in my room. So TK.
Theodore Kitching.
That's you, Theo. Okay, cool. How can we make the honest vision of Change the Future more appealing to young people? Quote, I've approached a few people about the project, and naturally, as soon as they hear the word democracy or politics, they are apathetic. Now, you brought this up earlier. Would you like to run with this?
Like to what, sorry?
Run with it, explain it, elaborate.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering of different ways of presenting it, because I don't know, like one of the things I like about how Luke and Charlie have presented the projects in the way they speak is a sort of a clear a clear but quite sort of free way of speaking. I mean, there's one. I think if you're sort of being political, but there are two main ways of speaking, which is which is to be clear but completely open as to what the possibilities are of this one idea, and then the other is to have a strong, or a strict, closed-minded, dictated
Mm.
one idea, and but at the same time there has to be some kind of a middle ground. I feel because when I first got involved with Change the Future, I was like everything that was explained about it just completely went over my head because I was just it's all a bit too dreamy for me. Like what's actually going on? And but as soon as people, I reckon, as soon as people start to understand that it's not about the destination necessarily, but more getting to that kind of new way of thinking, then yeah, the better. But,
Hello.
hello. So I'm just really confused about
Hello.
how I can present that without coming off as this, hippie, whatever people
Yeah.
call me.
Hmm.
Which leads on to my next point, which is asking Luke, Charlie, could you please give me a brief summary of history of CTF in years and notable events from the very beginning up to now? I want to make a proper beefy description of Change the Future for the Cheshire branch.
Nice one. All right then.
We're giving you words of encouragement and support from over here with our microphone muted.
Yeah. So that would be an amazing thing to do. Just. It would be a brilliant thing. It doesn't sort of change the future timeline, I suppose.
Change the Future kind of evolved gradually over time.
Yes, it did. Need a charger. Sorry. Luke will come back in a sec. Carry on.
So it kind of started with an interest in education, and
Yeah.
so originally, I guess you can go back further, but I mean, when it actually became something that we called Change the Future, like that's the first time we called it Change the Future, it was at a point where me and Luke had started designing some ideas for a web platform where young people could offer their ideas about how to shape their schools. So it was originally about giving voice to students to share their ideas, and then we would take those ideas to different people, whether they're like educationists or politicians or whatnot, and they would sort of give their feedback on those ideas, and then we'll go back to the students and try and refine the ideas. And then we wanted to put this process online, and we just got more and more excited about how a digital process of shaping your environment could work. So it began with schools because they're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if students could actually shape their schools instead of, student voice, which doesn't really do much usually. And then I'm not sure how long, but it was maybe a year maybe before it sort of evolved into more general community and democratic rather than just schools.
And do you have a precise year for like when the seed was kind of planted? Just like if I had to present it, I really want to make it quite literal.
I would probably put it at a different place to Luke. I think I can guess where Luke would say. I think he would say it was when he came up with an idea for a feature film, but I think that's quite a long way away. I think when it was literally like a web platform idea, 2010, I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because that's when we were doing the documentary, and that's when the idea came out of like the actual web platform idea. and then I think it became named Change the Future in 2011. I'm pretty sure.
Excellent.
Yeah. I would like, just in a very short, succinct sort of line, I would just say, I feel like it's quite honest actually to say that the beginning of the project wasn't very clear, because it just isn't true that it kind of just suddenly bang, began on a certain date at a time. And it's not one of those cliches of, I sat in a coffee shop with my friend and we just thought about this question and we just thought, oh my god, and then boom, it was born. It wasn't like that. It's just, I think, very, very slowly and gradually just been a project that, yeah, again, from my perspective, I feel like I've recognised it more as just such an open opportunity to explore the most important questions with other friends of mine who I feel like can bring loads to the table in terms of questioning a house we can meet at, a brilliant perspective or experience, or different sort of view on something and information, and together we just we call it Change the Future, but really it's just a vehicle that we can all climb on and share our learnings about the world and how to help understand the world so that we can improve it together, rather than wait for somebody else to do it for us.
I think my main threads of excitement for Change the Future have been probably in, to summarise it, a scientific process meets story sharing, in a way. Almost like sharing your perspective, your heart, your being, and your needs and your feelings, and then gradually building in more of like an evidence base of change. The feedback between the environment and people's needs and real, tangible things that you can improve from.
I really like that, science and storytelling.
Beautiful.
Okay, and very, very briefly, if you could give me sort of all of the notable events from the very beginning up to now. I mean, it's not necessarily notable, and ones that people can look at and go, "Oh, that tickles my ego. You've been in a TED talk and all this."
We just do like 2 each, Charlie, and you have one. Just like bullet point them quickly.
We did a talk at Z Day 2013, Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was quite a big audience with like red big stage with like couple hundred people, Mark Boyle and people, Moneyless Man and stuff.
Yeah, there's quite a few interesting people there. What was another good one? Berlin, that was pretty cool. So we were at bloody, what's it called? I've forgotten the name of it now.
Campus Party Europe.
That's it.
Well, they took over a whole massive airport in Berlin, funded by O2.
Yeah.
And I remember that. We met Don Tapscott.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wall of Ideas, that's a big one, which breaks into 3 parts: in the street, at TEDx, and in the gallery.
What were the places it was hosted at again, sorry?
In the street, at TEDx, Brighton, and in Onca Gallery for 2 weeks. This is 3 times the Wall of Ideas has been up. And
but I didn't catch the first one, sorry, because of the...
In the street. Just in the street.
Yeah, New Street. Yeah, the street.
Great.
Yeah, and I guess I've written on Wikipedia a bit about how the member of Parliament for the Green Party, like Caroline Lucas, came and we filmed interviews with her, and Jason Kitcat. I mean, you know this stuff, but yeah, just a bit of recognition from influential people.
City Camp, that's a good one.
Yeah, we won City Camp. That's an event that people in Brighton who are like police and business owners and councillors, politicians and people to come together in a space that's actually created for decision makers, influential people to meet face to face with the people affected by those decisions. For once, although there's not really like a proper, robust democratic process, or like there is some invitation for free mingling and projects to emerge to solve problems around policing or parking or child safety, all kinds of things, and it is a creative, quite empowering space, and even sometimes a bit of money for projects going around. And so yeah, Change the Future won that the year before last. And there was another thing that's on the Wikipedia article. Oh yeah, we got chosen for the Wired Sussex incubation, so we got 3 months of a free office, and we got mentors from all over the place, including like head of marketing for YouTube Europe, and all kinds of exciting people. Paul Levy, who actually can we quickly talk about that at the end, about Paul Levy?
Paul Levy.
Yeah,
the
just really
agenda.
quick. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I'm done.
Nice. Thank you, guys.
We also we had a lot of interaction with Unlimited and O2 as well. They've helped us. Change the Future, given us money and support and lots of interesting events to go to.
Yeah, they've been amazing, man. There's a lot of opportunities still there, I think. Like we could even apply for O2 Think Bigger, which is 10 grand, and Unlimited, you know, have loads of different options for all kinds of support.
Great idea.
Great idea. Literally just such an achievable task. It's just someone who can be bothered to put a couple of hours, a few hours into that, and just potentially get thousands of pounds in for the project, or huge opportunities for us to get in the public eye.
Yeah.
Noticed by other like-minded projects, things like that. So many opportunities, I think.
Yep. Nice. Is that finished? I believe. Are you happy with that?
Oh yeah.
Great. Nice. Okay, so the next point is Paul Levy, recently added.
Is that cool? Well, we also need to talk about the proposal for paying donations to volunteers. Anyway, so Paul Levy, he is an amazing man, I think. Charlie's met him, I think, haven't you? The collusion, you have the collusion of mediocrity person who we chatted about, and he's very, very exciting. Really unusual thinker. He does a lot of consultation with businesses and projects. Really like disrupting them and how they work. Why are you not inspired by your workplace or your organisation? And sometimes he can like massively disrupt a company that just the truth is they've been running away from the fact that nobody gives a shit about what any of them are doing in the first place. Yeah. Or on a good day, or maybe that is a good day because then something good comes out of it, but maybe on a less disruptive day, then, you know, just he helps people to go, oh yeah, this is actually where my passion and skill sets lie in this project and why I'm interested, and they might make fundamental, massive changes to how they do things. But yeah, I offered to do him some free video production in return for exploring the possibility of him working with Change the Future a bit, because I think he's just a really interesting, very experienced guy who could potentially give us amazing ideas for how to work better together, which, I don't know, is surely exactly what we're trying to master.
Nice.
What he said, the way that conversation ended, was he works very much with invitations. He doesn't barely ever say, I think you should do this. He creates an invitation instead. So he says, I invite you to talk to the rest of the Change the Future workforce and get a temperature check from them. Are they interested? Are they how curious are they about this? Would they like to explore doing a kind of away day or a workshop with him?
Do you think it's natural that there are so many people in the workforce and like so few people in the meetings and like really getting involved? I mean, I'm not. That's not like a criticism or anything. That's just more. It's more sad at the end of the day for me, just because I imagine there are lots of people who are really grabbed by it and join the group and everything, and then
Yeah,
it disappears into the ether. Like what?
I think there's a number of reasons why that is, but
In my own experience, it's easier to just be apathetic than actively uninvolved.
Mm-hmm.
You just go, I'm just gonna not interact with that rather than say this no longer interests me because it's not. No, I think it's hard to make your mind up about it, really. But in times when I haven't been involved in the workforce, or I've just kind of been focusing on other aspects of my life, it doesn't become a priority to announce to the ChangeTheFuture workforce that I'm not going to be present anymore. It doesn't seem like a necessary thing, but perhaps it should be. Just saying I'm in or I'm out.
I'm trying to understand that mentality more. It kind of reminds me of like how a lot of my friends have just sort of slipped away from the whole skateboarding community, and they're just like, oh, I've got a job now. There are more important things, but at the same time, like I think you can always make time to do it. And how do you define your priorities when you're dealing with such a big topic of changing the world?
Yeah.
Why do you bother, Theo? Why do you keep turning up?
I think I have to. I really, I'm not even. I don't know. It's a big question, but I feel like it's mainly because you guys make me feel good, and I also I want to make a change, and I have hope that, yeah, I'm open to improve things.
That's cool.
So I want to start my own sort of underground company called Board of Apathy. It kind of sums up how I feel. And it's like a positive propaganda movement.
That's great. Will it involve skateboards as well?
Possibly. Who knows? But I was thinking of doing lots of guerrilla sort of, like guerrilla warfare, but with like positive propaganda and like slipping in, DIY tube ad signs and replacing things and covering things in massive bed sheets and just like showing the other side.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, nice.
About shifting that consciousness. I think a lot of the time people maybe aren't even aware that they're being apathetic. It's just like normal behaviour.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wait, do I not care about stuff? Maybe I do. Maybe I just don't care about stuff. Maybe I should care about stuff. Why are you bored of being apathetic?
What are the options to prove to yourself and others that you're not apathetic? That's the question I enjoy exploring.
Right, say that again. I didn't quite process that.
What are your options? I guess this is the question I'm exploring, kind of presenting to all kinds of people. Like, what do you feel like your options are right now for proving to yourself and everyone else that you're not apathetic?
Ah, right, yeah.
Whatever the opposite of apathy is, like how do you actually be that?
I would. Yeah, there's a lot of academic-y questions you could go into this. I would probably contend. What's the word? Yeah. A lot of people get into like charity work because they think they're doing good, and it is good on a small scale. But if all of those people put effort into changing the fundamental system, you wouldn't need charity anymore. Charity is just patchwork. In a quote, I can't remember who said it, it's a good one. Charity is opiates for the rich. I agree with that.
What's opiates mean?
Relax, calm.
Opiate is opium.
No.
It's kind of similar root.
Sedate you a bit, actually. And it makes you feel no pain.
Right,
Hmm.
yeah. Like a painkiller almost, isn't it?
Yeah. Like a sleepy, dreamy painkiller.
Yeah.
Hmm. Does it not serve a... Sorry, it's my first thing I've said, and it's going to be to disagree with someone. Hi. Does it not serve a purpose in kind of creating a moral foundation in people's lives? Like, I very much subscribe to a Nietzschean idea of God being dead after us basing our ethical lives on a set of strict rules that by adhering to we fulfill a moral criteria which is fulfilling, it rounds off our lives, and by going out of our way to do things that might involve a level of sacrifice, we become kinder creatures on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's part of the reason that's the thing that I'm trying to concentrate on doing a lot in my life at the moment, is just try and live as a more loving person. And like quite a lot of the time, it seems like a lot of energy to put into doing something that only really deals with like not so much the root cause of something, but some problems that are symptomatic of larger endemic cultural issues or like structural issues. Like it allows me to keep a fulfilled perspective on the whole.
I like that. I like that input. I would bring up the question of like where you can put that love, because I definitely agree that in each moment you can build that compassion, and that's just about living each moment and being a being that's loving. So like if you have a kind of like a compassionate mentality, and you can spread that, then that is also getting at a root cause to a certain extent. It's getting at the root cause of just people not connecting, and you can do that on a small scale, and that's great. But my issue is with like a lot of charitable work. It's almost like a distraction. It feels like you're doing a lot of good, and you are in those individuals' lives. But if you put the same amount of energy and effort into questioning the fundamental fabric of why there's those issues in the first place, and trying to follow the whole system and figure out how to change those key issues that are triggering all of the problems, then you'll be able to change the system, and that will be a lot greater loving impact, because you'll change the lives for many more people in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I can see how. Yeah, I concur. I suppose I do take that into consideration when I think I have a lot more admiration might be the wrong word, but I think more highly of Amnesty International than I do Oxfam or War on One. I particularly like, people who
I feel like we're
recognise it.
And I'm holding chair.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut in and bring us back to the agenda.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Lovely as it is, valid contributions. I'm going to bring us back to the next point on the agenda, the last point currently on the agenda, which was about donations to volunteers at its disposal to encourage people to accomplish tasks in exchange for a monetary reward.
Yes.
There was a proposal, what would you call it? A proposal that was voted on. We had it last week, and then it was given this week.
Yeah.
Discuss and encourage. Have you found it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Cool.
This
I'd
is
like a
great.
refresher.
Firstly, I just want to recognise that we've got a decent amount of votes on here. That's really nice. Like, we could definitely have a lot more, but I think it's, there's enough votes on there to get a bit of a spectrum of opinion and see clearly that no one is strongly against. Two people are against. You, Joe, and Alex PB. And in between is Theo, and then we've got we've got 5, 4, and 3 strongly for. So, I guess that would score as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minus 2. So we've got 9 points positive.
Yeah.
Count strongly as double. So strongly for is +2, strongly against is -2. The overall score is +9. So
Pretty good.
I
Like pretty clear at least.
So yes, it raised a couple of interesting things. I think if I can just talk about it
Take
a
it.
bit, because I especially remember talking to Charlie and Alex PB about this in the past. Looking at how you might have party politics now, like you might have a political party or even a proposal that people mostly agree with. Like let's say an issue, an actual proposal: build a car park in the middle of Brighton in this location, and 90% of people in Brighton want that. But then everyone seems to have a different idea of what it should look like, how many floors it should have. So almost no one, barely any people, have got all agree on like a particular version of that idea that we all want. So, for example, in this situation, definitely seems like the overwhelming majority is in favour of us finding a way of experimenting with giving money to volunteers on Change the Future. Anyone, core team, senior, junior member or supporters, for doing work on the project and to see what effect that has. It's not about predicting what it will do, it's about finding out what it will do. We sort of talked about all that stuff already. But yeah, it's just interesting. I'm just kind of observing, reflecting on the fact that, I remember Alex PB, I think he wrote something in there about how he'd like it to be a smaller amount of money, and I guess that's maybe why he's voted against it. He suggested £100 instead of 500. So yeah, what would we do on the web platform for Change the Future? What would we do on the Wall of Ideas with situations like this? And should we try doing that now with this proposal? Like splitting it so there's various versions, or we could even assume that this proposal will carry. But then maybe we could do like a voting poll, not for strongly for or against, but actually for the amount of money, the most disputed variable. You know what I mean? So you can click, and then Alex PB can choose £100, I can choose £500, and then you can see what the most popular amount of money is, if that's the main thing we're disagreeing on within the proposal.
But why was that agree-disagree method used instead of the Change the Future method?
Because we just don't have it available. That's why we're building Change the Future, surely. So we're just using the tools that are available to us. Mate, I would love to use ChangeTheFuture.com's web platform instead of doing Facebook polls when we vote on things, but I don't know how to facilitate.
But I mean, Trello could do most of it if you just color code. Like for example, on the Wall of Ideas, you've got the color-coded cards. You could do the same thing with color-coded tasks on Trello.
I would be really interested to. I would be really happy to support you or someone in experimenting with that, but I feel like I've experimented with it a bit enough to not give up, but just feel like Facebook is a more realistic way to get engagement.
Well, at least
we've got 11 votes or 12 votes in here, which, and I feel like if it was done on Trello, we might have half that if we're lucky.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point.
Maybe.
What about I guess my main question or issue is with just the sort of agree disagree. Hello? Oh,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, I got that.
Because I thought that was kind of partly what Change the Future is trying to get away from, is just that sort of dichotomy.
Totally, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Cat really trying to be in my face.
What are you all up in my face for?
What are you up in my face for, cat? It's quite
All up
nice
my
that
grill.
she's got soft fur.
Man, I agree totally. I think this is just, I agree with your challenge. I perceive this as a challenge, and I agree with it, but I'm not seeing a better proposal right now.
Okay. But what do we take out of having, like, at the
It's
moment,
like we've got to use the existing system of decision making to then push forward the new decision making situation. It's great that you've brought light to this, but I also feel like if we did have the superior change the future decision making poll or proposal, whatever you want to call it, it would maybe also take more explaining, because I don't think I have a full grasp of how it works. Maybe it's self-explanatory, but people who voted on it, I don't know if they know. Like Leah Bilton only joined last week, so I doubt she knows what it means, or I don't know. Yeah. I don't
okay,
know.
well, I can explain the very essence of what the current Wall of Ideas thing is that Luke made up, which
I would
is
love that.
benefits and concerns rather than agree, strongly agree, or disagree. It's quite easy just
Or
to put benefit, concern in your comment.
Okay, right, and then you go. So so there's not 5 choices. There's 2 choices, and then you see which ones are greater. Is it still in terms of numbers?
In terms of making a decision, so currently the situation is how
Should we
should
use
we
this
put
money?
this amount of money for doing tasks? And the
Yep.
process is, yeah, I agree, or no, I disagree, rather than saying, okay, let's use the benefits and concerns method of trying to decide whether this is a good idea or not.
Yeah.
That make sense?
Can I just ask if, like, are you suggesting that we do use the Wall of Ideas structure to build a proposal or build upon a pre-written proposal and alter it? Are you suggesting we do it with this?
I'm suggesting that every decision made in Change the Future is done more like a Change the Future or Wall of Ideas method.
Yeah, I like that. I do.
Otherwise, we're not really doing what we're preaching, and it seems a bit odd.
So what happens next? Do we scrap this proposal and redo it, change the future style, and potentially compare the 2?
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we keep as data, if you like, an experiment in old-fashioned proposals. We start a new proposal in the style of Change the Future with benefits and concerns, and a week from now, reassess.
Okay.
Seem sensible?
Wow, this feels like a big proposal. I love the experimenting with it, definitely, but I don't feel like we should abandon what's currently been more or less working for us, I would argue, especially within our quite small, very enlightened culture in Change the Future. That's the only way I can think of to describe it. Like, I feel pretty intimately, compared to the average person, understand. We've deeply explored together. We've all got different lengths of experience in Change the Future, but I feel all of us share to some degree, a common understanding of a lot of the challenges and opportunities of working together, how it's difficult, how we have to kind of spend 2 hours in a meeting, and then we have working groups, and we manage tasks, all these sort of things. So I feel like us lot are particularly thoughtful and mindful and sensitive, and we'll listen to each other and explain our points, and not just agree or disagree. But if you look at all the comments on the most popular proposals on Facebook, people are saying why they're agreeing or disagreeing, and there's conversation happening there. Definitely, there's huge room for improvement, and I feel like it would be so much better to use something closer to what we're actually advocating, obviously. But I wonder if, Charlie, you might be interested to work with Alex, who I feel like I've got a vibe from him that he's really interested in doing a new prototype.
Is he?
Whether or not he calls it Change the Future, I don't know. Maybe it's not important, but we've chatted lots about creating a new tool for proposals and looking at Sankey diagrams and clever ways to do this in a better way. That's not just here's an idea, yes or no, end. Right, but exploring better questionings than this. I like the idea, but can we improve it? There's an even better idea, but it's still got a whole amazing idea none of us would have ever thought of in the first place. So yeah, man. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, I think this is basically working well enough to help us keep plodding forth and get a sense of more or less go in the right direction, even if it's not perfect, So I just feel like let's not just abandon ship completely until we've at least experimented with whatever you're kind of advocating, however you imagine doing that.
I feel like you've just come to the exact same conclusion that I like what you said, but I don't feel like you came to a different conclusion to what I came to. I didn't say that. I didn't feel like we should abandon this. I felt like it's valuable, and we should also explore the other way that decision making can be done.
Okay, so you don't mean
and putting the two aside, there's a parallel, and just going, okay, is there similarities, and
exactly.
They work together.
We don't really know what's better, but we can find out by testing stuff.
Yeah, so I guess I guess what I would love to see is a proposal for an action point. I guess now, like a kind of, I propose we laboriously, I suppose, duplicate the next 1 or 2 proposals, maybe, so that we have them as our normal Facebook poll, but then also experiment with the new layout, the new interface, the new system you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? So we're still using our current system, but we can also experiment with real examples of proposals on the new thing. It just feels like there's still lots of questions in my mind about it. But I'm sure it's a beautiful direction to explore. Certainly essential.
Yes.
Did more please?
There's a head.
It is an interesting question about how relevant the complexity of decision making is. If there is just a small group, like maybe it's not relevant having like quests and benefits and concerns and all of this if there's only like a handful of people.
I mean,
maybe it only becomes relevant in large groups.
I think its relevancy. Sorry, mate, go. I think its relevancy comes in building the proposal, because I think the alternative to using the system that you're suggesting is simply to allow someone to write a proposal, multiple people can write a proposal, and then those proposals be written upon as a basis of what would happen now. Now that we've agreed that money should be spent on this, like how much money, how it's allocated, all these small decisions would have to be made by, a proposal. And if you want that proposal to be alterable in a way that's democratic, it needs to use the wall of ideas idea, to make any kind of complex changes. I mean, wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary to make it actionable, because my concerns about it aren't the same as Alex's. And you're right, it's got a lot of support. So I think there is room, if we want to get this done quickly, to just come in and just like someone to write a proposal who's voted strongly for it, and then us execute it on the back of it having support, and I think it will get support. And in that sense, yeah, we don't really need the wall of ideas structure to get something moving forward. And that's kind of primarily the thing that we have an issue with at the moment, is getting stuff moving forward concisely and executing it. But like, yeah, I really do. Like, I do want to say, like, I really do like the idea of trying to find a simple way to do the wall of ideas. I don't even think it needs Trello. I think it could be like just a template on, because like with one proposal, it doesn't even have to be movable. It just needs to look like a solid series of coloured blocks with people adding more coloured blocks to it. It could be a Google Doc. Yeah, I like it. But if we want to get this done, then we should just do it, in my opinion. We should someone like write a proposal. Luke, you already have a pretty concrete idea of how this might work. Right, write it up and we'll do it. If you've not written it up already, haven't you?
What, like the interface for Wall of Ideas?
Oh no, the paying for stuff. How you propose it would happen.
The paying for stuff. While it's on my mind, and before I drop it, it's very relevant to this. I'm just remembering stuff people said from the previous meeting, including the very interesting to me stuff from Daniel Harris about using GitHub, and Alex PB's mentioned it as well, I remember, that GitHub is an interface for people creating open source software together, people who, many of them don't even know each other, but they've got a common vision, but very different ideas about how to kind of create it. So VLC player, Open Office, all these open source bits of software. Huge teams of people have built it, over time, and it's a project that they're collaborating on, just like Change the Future. So they have ideas, they self-organize, and a word that comes to mind is forking. When you fork the source code, for example, I was looking at Better Mean, who sound so similar to Change the Future. It's incredible. I definitely recommend looking on YouTube for Better Mean. But the project died. Better Mean.
Ah, right.
And like just watching it made me think, oh my God, they're creating the whole culture and tool that groups like us exactly need, like self-organizing businesses and organizations and communities, and even like included the monetary element, or like it used credits, but you can like weigh the credits in favor of who's contributed the most time into a task, and it's mad, so detailed. Really a lot of thought and love has gone into it. Anyway, the project died. The people leading it sort of did something else, but because it's open source, it was left in the open source community, and a group of people have kind of taken it forward. But the word that I think you use in open source software is forking it. So you kind of, like someone like Change the Future, but they wanted to go about it in a different way, they would fork. Yeah. They'd make a fork of Change the Future. Yeah, and I think that just, I don't know really what I'm saying. I guess I'm just maybe inviting anyone to explore GitHub, and if you do, I'd love to know whether you think it could be a viable way for us to move our conversations about proposals more towards GitHub, and see if we can use that system not for making open source software, but actually just for making decisions as a group, because I think people are doing that, and I bet people have written blogs about it and got YouTube videos of them using it.
I believe that's a really positive way to go, because GitHub works brilliantly for open source software. So it'd be great if we can take that concept and put it into just other general ideas.
Open source humanware.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a beautiful research task, I think, that you could just really enjoy diving into. Like, I would love to, I might start digging into it, but I feel like I'm also doing lots of super high priority things I might just get on with first. So
I want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's staring in space.
Yeah. I've been concentrating long enough, and I'm going to stop. So yeah.
So to conclude that point, then, so we'll run with the proposal as it's gone, like 500 quid. Then, because like that has been the vote and it has passed. So we're Change the Future paying people. money to work up.
I'm down with that. I'm the only person here who disagreed with it. I'm on board.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's good then.
Okay, so to clarify, in that case, you still taking minutes there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, yeah. So next things to do then, I guess. It's my proposal. So, and I'm pricing up the tasks, but not getting paid by any of them. So, I guess I need to go onto Trello, onto driving ChangeTheFuture forward, and start putting prices onto tasks, and then.
Stop putting.
Just to make it clear to everyone right now, that's going to mean that as soon as I put a price tag onto a task, everybody is welcome to do that task and earn that money, basically.
I hate the internet. Credit tag, did you say?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm going to start putting prices now onto the tasks on Trello.
I hate that word thing. I don't know what it is.
This prices, money, monetary values. I'm going to assign an amount of money that gets paid.
I've never heard that before.
Money.
Crisis or whatever you're saying. I don't know what that is.
Prices.
Prices, as in like
Prices. Okay, fine.
So you know on Trello you can see all the tasks that we've decided together we want to do to drive ChangeTheFuture forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how to find that Trello board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So soon you're going to see I've added monetary values to each task, like £25 for this task, £10 for that task, £70 for that task. They'll start having numbers appear on them, and that means if you complete that task, you get that money.
Huh.
Hold on. Are these tasks going to have a equal value? And if not, what determines whether one task is more important than another?
that was my most important point. Thank you, Charlie, for bringing that up. That was something that I wanted to know as well.
In my proposal, I think I was just proposing that I would,
Like figures.
yeah, just think about how many hours I think it would take to do a task. So let's just look at a real task, so we're not just. But I'm going to screen share actually.
Yep.
Okay, so everyone, you see my screen?
Oh, whoa. Yeah, now I do.
Okay, so here are the committees we were talking about. So all the green tasks are vision, strategy, research, and internal comms. That's the green tags. So one of these is put login details on Trello as well. Lots of these are very small tasks. One of them is label all of the tasks on this board. So I've done that now. But that could be, that could be £5–10 maybe. So I think I would probably do it like this. Just put 10. And then Luke Flegg leads this by spacebar. You just hit spacebar to tag yourself to a task. You don't even have to open it to do that. You can just
Hover over it.
Yeah, hover over it.
Nice. Nick.
So yes. So you're looking at all the tasks that haven't been done yet and are not already being done by someone. So you're looking, lists 1 to 4. But possibly, I wonder if we should limit who is able to actually do a task, so that it's only people who've actually been inducted on Trello are allowed to take on a task. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, people might use it wrong by accident. Like they might just, put in an idea over here, and then just do it. I don't know. Or like, for example, somebody who's really new to ChangeTheFuture, they're like a supporter or a junior member, and they might do a really big, important task, like a funding application for £40,000 or register as a legal entity. You know, that needs to be done by somebody experienced after they've been authorised by somebody else. You know, so somebody actually says, yes, I second you doing that kind of thing. You know, it can't just be absolutely anyone invited to do any task, because that'll just be mayhem and irresponsible. So yeah, should we?
We need a taskmaster, and I think you are it. So I think that should be the task for now.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that's like just a mini detail to add on to the proposal. That yeah, you need to be involved in you need to be confident using Trello and how we manage tasks before you can get paid, which will involve like, I don't know, a half-hour long sort of induction, which you could do ideally in person, but potentially online too.
Is this training paid?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't see why it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Whoa.
So, are we happy to amend the
I
proposal?
think
in that
I
way?
lost the. I think I lost the general overall summary.
I'm going to try and summarize, because I was here attempting to listen. I've already admitted that I'm too tired now to really focus wholly and completely. But in summary, there will be a list of tasks governed maybe by Luke. He's going to write them and assign prices to them according to what he believes they are.
It'll be like the state of Luke the government.
Yeah.
I would love anyone to help like price them up or like help be part of advising that, but to eliminate the conflict of interest, that's why I can't take any money ever. So then I'm not.
Yeah.
The other point was that you need to be confident using Trello before you can get paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is one of the key aspects, is that to assign yourself to a task, complete a task, and then prove that you've completed it, or at least have it acknowledged. You have to be Trello literate, able to use it and adequately use it. So yeah, I feel like that's basically the summary.
Can this Facebook group cover picture be a real life piece of art? Which I
Wait, are you looking at a particular task?
What?
Which I can well, I saw a task when you were sharing your screen about you wanted the Change the Future workforce cover picture changed, right?
Okay.
Is that still on?
I think I may be wrong. I feel like you're talking maybe in more detail than we have time for now about individual tasks, and the place to have that conversation is inside that task. So just click on it and type your question in there. I think I would suggest, because that may not even be a task that I created. It's not just me who's made all these tasks. These are like
Mostly.
Yeah, maybe I used the word taskmaster wrong. Like, anyone can make a task, but what I'm talking about is the tasks with monetary rewards as part of the experiment will have to be well thought out by as many individuals as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
be a collaboration, really, ideally, shouldn't it?
Ideally, yeah.
I mean, now this proposal's passed, I think I would just invite, as much as I can, training sessions on Trello, so people kind of can learn. We're not going to do it right now, but we'll just, me and people who are interested should just get together after this, and the invitation will be out on the Workforce Facebook group. We'll get together, work out how to use it, in a way that works for us all, and then we can start taking tasks and getting paid for them.
I really want to wrap up.
Yeah,
So
I
much.
want to go too.
Good.
Goodbye.
Cool it, Jem.
And meet you, Jan.
Wicked.
Thank you all for arriving.
Wicked.
Nice.
Good night.
Nice one, everyone.
Yeah, much love.
Beautiful.
gonna-
Theo, did you?
Bye,
See you,
Charlie.
Theo,
Bye bye.
did you?
Lots of
Bye,
love.
Charlie. Did you
Bye.
write the? Did you type up the minutes or did you write them on paper again?
I wrote them on paper again, and I shall type them up. Yes, I'll do that tonight with my awesome-looking stereo setup, which is all in my room and very nice. Wait, there you go.
Nice, Theo. Looks wonderful.
Nice.
Really enjoying it.
Beautiful.
Thanks for taking minutes, Theo. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
Nice
you're
one,
welcome.
mate. Good luck. Cool.
Bye, bye.
Bye. Cuddles.